What's the good word, y'all? It's your boy DKB here. So I was thinking about all options we can exhaust to try to save this New York Jets season behind the arm of Zach Wilson. Robert Saleh, at least as of right now, seems hell-bent on giving him his entire continuous full support. And while I don't like it, I'll get right behind him, right? I want this New York Jets team to be successful by any means necessary. And I know a couple of you guys have chatted. It's essentially a waste. We're not going to really get anywhere if somebody, some magical force we reach the playoffs. Nobody really expects Zach Wilson to go out there and win a game. But we still have that potential Aaron Rodgers return on the horizon. So I think still trying to get into the playoff picture needs to be the goal here, right? Obviously, we have Super Bowl aspirations. Things need to be tampered way down with Zach Wilson. But in terms of having an in-house option, I still think that there's a way we can maybe salvage this season with Zach Wilson, and that answer is going to be Aaron Rodgers. Now, hear me out here. We know a lot of things about Aaron Rodgers after this offseason compared to what I thought I knew based on what I've heard from Packers fans. He's been fully supportive of and committed to the New York Jets. And we've seen that flourish in a multitude of different moments and memories through our Jets Flight, not our Jets Flight podcast, but from the Flight 53 films. I don't know why I'm not getting the name right now, but either way, you guys know what I'm talking about. So we've seen a number of different moments where Aaron Rodgers has done things that has been kind of unexpected of him based on how his tenure with the Packers has ended. What we do know, though, is from recent memory, the preseason was a time where we seen Zach Wilson, and I won't say shine, but we seen actual solid quarterback play. Now, take all of that with a grain of salt. We know what preseason is. It's a time for the bottom tier guys to really go out there and ball out. But you do tend to see some guys step up and show that they either can be serviceable or they look like they're stars in the preseason. And so you don't want to completely just disregard what's happening there. Zach Wilson as a preseason quarterback looked much different than what we're seeing right now in the regular season. And to me, based on what we've seen before, the lights all shine the same, whether it's been preseason or the regular season when it comes to Zach Wilson. So seeing this preseason and what looked like noticeably major improvements for him, and I use the term major loosely, right? Obviously, there's leaps and bounds that Zach Wilson can take. We have to kind of grab at any little, grand of improvement that we can, or grain, I should say, of improvement we can get out of him. But he did actually look noticeably better, and the stats actually supported it, considering he also didn't really have a very, very strong run game. So why am I necessarily bringing up the preseason? For one, to call out the fact that we definitely seen improvements here for him. Two, this is where we've seen Aaron Rodgers more so kind of in coach mode. Keep in mind, he didn't play the preseason until that final game against the Giants, and we only seen him for a brief moment. Otherwise, he's been in Zach Wilson's ear, Tim Boyle's ear, Chris Streveler, but he's been attached to the hip with Zach Wilson, which is where you could probably, you could put a lot of the development that we've seen to Zach Wilson. I would point out the fact that we've actually heard Nathaniel Hackett, our offensive coordinator himself, whether this was jokingly or just giving the credit where the credit was due, we've heard him mention that Rodgers has probably coached Zach up more than anybody else on the offensive coaching staff. Kind of was a red flag to me at the time. Nonetheless, we'll take any of the support we can get wherever it is that we can get it from. So we know he's not interested, and by he, I mean Aaron Rodgers, in coaching after he retires. But seeing that he still seems fully committed to the Jets, he looks like he's trying to come back from this season-ending injury early to make it to the playoffs if we can get there, or at the very least, just to get a huge head start on getting himself together for the 2024 season. Maybe he will still be, motivated to coach Zach Wilson up in real time in the regular season. Couple barriers there, or at least the main barrier I should say, is the fact that he's pointed out he doesn't really plan on returning to the facilities, and that's not even a guaranteed thing, but at least until he's able to go out there and walk. So I don't know what that necessarily means, walk without needing a bunch of assistance, crutches, etc. Who knows exactly what that'll mean? But he also hinted at maybe showing up at this game, right? Maybe that was a nod against the Chiefs to Taylor Swift and the whole Travis Kelce drama. But could also have meant himself. Maybe he'll show up and we'll see him on the sidelines. Who knows? But from what we know, Zach Wilson has done this preseason, the offense was productive under Zach. We have to keep in mind, I mentioned the run game wasn't strong. We've seen it just as bad as we do now, if not worse. Let me explain. The Hall of Fame game, we averaged as a whole the entire unit. Keep in mind, Zach, we've seen guys like Chris Streveler get a couple of runs in. 2.3 yards per carry as an average for the rushing attack. Our first preseason game, 3.8 yards per carry. The second one was a lot better, but we've seen a lot of explosive plays. So we had 6.6 yards per carry as a team. And then it dropped right back down in the final preseason game against the Giants, where we had 2.2 yards per carry. So you're not talking about Zach Wilson being, able to take advantage of a strong rushing attack. We also didn't really have Breece Hall and, Dalvin Cook playing at all. So you're talking about Michael Carter, Izzy, and Travis Dye being the main culprits there. But nonetheless, with the offensive line that we kind of had, some of the strengths there and the skill sets of the running back room, you would expect that this would have looked a lot better. What we do know, though, is on the plus side, we actually seen Aaron Rodgers be one of the main reasons why Zach Wilson was able to break out some of his early funks in the preseason. Zach Wilson gave him credit for the deep pass in the Hall of Fame game that went to Malik Taylor. I think it was like 57 yards. Whatever it was. Prior to that, things were starting to look a little shaky for Zach Wilson, even though he only ended up throwing 5 passes in that Hall of Fame game. But nonetheless, you had deep shots, Malik Taylor, deep shots to Jason Brownlee, Irvin Charles, guys that he was seeing pretty consistently after working with the second to third string in the practice units, and those guys looking pretty spectacular over the course of training camp and mini camp. And then as far as this regular season, it's been few and far in between, but the Cowboys really gave us our best shot of kind of seeing Zach Wilson still having a decent enough ability to go out there and attack the deep parts, where he tried to get two bombs down to Garrett Wilson. One of them we felt like he should have strongly been able to at least come down with, even if he couldn't make guys miss. Kind of seemed like he gave up on them, but this is kind of what we need. We need the offense to open up. We need the defense to not feel so relaxed about, Zach Wilson only throwing short and being able to sack him probably 8 out of 10 times he drops back. This is the way that we get away from that kind of thinking, get the defense on their heels, as we heard Robert Saleh say once we kind of got into some quick hurry-up offenses. This will unlock Zach at least a little bit and get some pressure from the defense up off of him. For what it's worth, right now he has a 52.4% completion percentage. Absolutely atrocious, but with how Aaron Rodgers was helping him develop in between series, how he would have attacked things, certain things he should have been looking for, just diagnosing what Zach was thinking and seeing, and then of course having the opportunity to go out there and throw it deep a couple of times per game. We've seen Zach Wilson average a 65% completion percentage. I'll sign up for that all day. Now, preseason, the regular season, even if I want to be, super, let's say we knock, 6% off, right? You're still talking about 59 to 60% as a completion percentage. Still a huge jump for Zach Wilson compared to what he's doing right now. Is this league average? Is this, him turning a huge corner and be looking like an elite quarterback? Not at all. But this puts us in the range of having that serviceable quarterback that can move the ball, can attack, keep the defense on their heels, get the safeties and the cornerbacks a little bit more concerned, and being able to have us utilize some of the players maybe that we keep asking for that hasn't been getting done. Mecole Hardman, Jeremy Ruckert. So who knows? Maybe this, at least in my mindset, Aaron Rodgers would be that in-person. Essentially, he should be what Rob Calabrese is. Let's just keep it simple. Aaron Rodgers would be the quarterback coach for the regular season for the New York Jets, where Zach Wilson, we've seen him most comfortable, and the only thing we really have to go off of is the preseason games. Although I would also argue it's not like Aaron Rodgers, got rushed off to a hospital on that Monday Night Football game versus the Bills. So he was still getting some assistance as far as what we would know over the sideline, and we were able to squeak out a win, granted, with the help of a lot of Josh Allen turnovers. But this would be the most logical solution, I would think, since we haven't signed a more than capable veteran backup, and we do have this, unfounded commitment to Zach Wilson. So I don't know, spitballing here, guys. I'm really trying to stay half glass full for this regular season. Let me know what you guys think, though. Would that somehow help Zach Wilson turn the corner? Maybe we can see some more success, even if it doesn't equate to wins right away versus the Chiefs. For example, if he does show up to the game, maybe it gives us a little bit more hope in that we see more of a reliable offense out there. But again, let me know what you guys' thoughts are, and I'll catch you again. Peace.